county has 36 advisors. The governor is saying he has 4. So who are we listening to before we even go to the documentary evidence?
Senator Lelegwa?
Chair, even before we go far, when I was following the governor reading on that audit query, he read up to a point of discussing the response. And I think this committee requires us to receive written submissions. So I don't know if this committee will take oral submissions from the governor. Well, we normally require the governor to give the written submissions, because part of what is contained here is not what is submitting in his oral submission.
Chair, I had not finished. Sorry, just 30 seconds. Chair, in the industrious nature of which I am, when you look at Annex 4, the headline talks about expiry of contract. Governor, I don't know who did this work. You will tell us, the officer. I can only see appointment letters of chief officers. There is none that shows any letter of advisors. Annex 4, expiry of contract. I think they were mixed up. They are only appointment letters of chief officers. So where is the documentary tying up with what the vice chair said? Because an oral submission, since the governor has taken an oath, the oral submissions and written come together. So where is the letter of the advisors in this?
Senator Ambua, so that we now get back to substance. I know we've taken quite some time on procedure.
So, Chair, and that's actually my fear. I'm wondering whether, Chair, due respect, I'm wondering whether we will be able to engage fruitfully with the information that we have received. I'm actually wondering, Chair, whether it would not make more sense to get the governor and his team, put their responses in order, and appear before us when they are ready to engage. At this rate, Chair, there are appendices that are blank. There is nothing to it. And when you listen to what the governor is trying to say, he says he has information. No, he's trying to give us information which is not contained in the reports. And now that they have gone on record and said that they have not responded to 17 issues, which is half of the issues raised, and those issues are interlinked, Chair, I'm wondering whether it would not make more sense for us to engage when we have all the responses, and then also have the county government of Isiolo give us a document that is really a document that we can go through. This is jumbled up.
Now, let me, perhaps coming from having sat here for quite some time, this governor has chased him away several times and is happy to pay 500,000. You've seen he just paid 500,000 a few minutes ago. It sometimes, to be honest, members, it gets me to think, could this be the strategy that you come to Nairobi unprepared, we send you home, we fine you 500,000, and then no one ever gets to know what happens as far as financial management is concerned in Isiolo? That is my concern. Ideally, this is a case where the governor should have been already on his way back home. The fact that he did not even respond fully to the issues raised. But in the process, we don't get to discuss issues. So I think, members, it is clear that already there are 18 issues that the governor must return to respond to. But there are few things that are so glaring that it would be untidy for the governor to leave Nairobi without us having discussed them. These issues of advisors, these issues of chief officers. I know it is happening in other counties. We must deal with them, even if we are not clearing the audit issue. But I think we must deal with these things without too much regard to the procedural issues. Right. Things like projects. We came to Isiolo to look at some projects. They're here in this report. We must be told what is happening there. So, members, was just asking for a blend of, we don't need to be very pure on procedure, but we must have some conversations around Isiolo. The past meetings, we have just been you know, we've not been dealing with these reports. I don't know whether we agree that, Senator Dulo, do we agree on that? Because procedural purity, this meeting would have been adjourned by now.
Chair, we need to proceed on this matter, more specifically for the benefit of Isiolo. The issues of HR, we must deal with it today because they have responded anyway. So that is my position.
Senator Sifuna?
Yeah, Chair, I was struggling with the governor's response. Governor, you have told the committee that these 32 are not advisors. So let me start with the Auditor General. All these people have appointment letters. Is that the source document that told you that these are people appointed as advisors? So yes or no, Auditor? You saw the employment letters and they said these are advisors.
Thank you, Chair. Once we do the audit and once before we include any audit query in our reports, we have to compare quite a number of issues. One of them is the appointment letters. Two, we have to check whether there is a payment, that's the remuneration relating to the officer who has been employed by the county. So that is the area that we conclude that this is an officer working with the county government and is getting remuneration from the county government.
I've misunderstood my question. There are many, many employees of the county government of Isiolo. What is it that told you this is an advisor?
The employment letters, Chair.
Do we have any of those letters here?
I will provide one. Who are your
Just a minute, Senator.
I think not a witness.
Chair, I was just...
Order, members, let's allow Senator
I was
Sifuna
just
to continue.
trying to get to the bottom of
Unless
something.
you put that on oath.
No, just a
Order,
minute.
Governor,
Chair.
I've not given you an opportunity to speak. Senator Sifuna,
Please protect me so that I complete my...
yes, please
train of
complete.
thought. Because you have told us that whatever happens, today we must find answers.
Correct.
So that's why I was trying to get to this particular point. Auditor General, do we have any of those letters there, or at least a name, the names of those 36 people who you identified as advisors, so that we can put it to the governor here, that those people are actually advisors? Because if it says in your employment letter that you're an advisor, then that is the position. Do you have anything, or we just go back to the governor?
Thank you, Chair. Usually when we are doing the final reports, we don't indicate the names of particular individuals, but we have an appendix when we are giving the management letters attached to our management
Excellent.
letters.
Could you share that? Because
You have it? Because it would have the names, right?
yes.
Now,
Auditor?
Yes, Chair, once we get some time, we can get back to our appendices supporting the management
And that
letters.
management letter was shared with the entity
Yes.
It was
before
sent,
you
Chair.
issued the certificate.
now, Governor,
okay.
you're going to run into a lot of problems with us as they look for that evidence. You have said that these people are not advisors. What do they do? What positions do they hold? I know there are many, like 32. Just, are you aware of those names from the Auditor General?
Chair, we have many officers working.
No, in that list of 36, are you aware of any 2 or 3 cases where the auditor said that this is an advisor and you have evidence to show us that they are not advisors?
Chair, if you listen to what I said earlier, I said we will bring evidence showing that those officers are working under County Public Service Board. They were never.
No, it doesn't matter who's employed.
They were never recruited as advisors. We just have 4 advisors, Chair.
So their appointment letters do not indicate that they are advisors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chair,
But Senator Sifuna, how do you leave it at that point without having seen the appointment letter?
That's why I'm saying, Chair, his position, he is on oath now. He has said that none of those letters show that these people are advisors. The OAG is going to give us the evidence because they saw the letters of appointment saying these people are advisors. Once we see those letters and they say the opposite of what the governor is saying, then we can proceed to go after him for perjuring himself.
Chair, with all due respect,
Senator,
yes, I come from this county. And I know very well the governor has taken an oath, and I will take oath also, that they have actually doctored everything. And as I've said, those redesignations were done much after they appeared before Chute committee. When I tell you that I have an evidence, I am the one who is carrying out an oversight of that Isiolo County. And I would ask the governor to tell us who are the 4 advisors that he has in the county. Based on that, I will provide my evidence whether you have 36 advisors or not. Because if that doesn't happen here, then the governor is lying to this committee. Thank you.
I think that's a fair request. Governor, you have put here that you have engaged a total of 4 advisors. The appendix is not available. You are on oath. Can you tell us who they are? Because you're saying you've got something there.
Chair, it is not a fair request.
No.
And I don't know the source of Senator Fatuma's
Governor,
allegation.
order, Governor, order. You have said you have 4 advisors. Name them. And tell us their name and what advice they render of the 4. We would have benefited from Appendix 2. We don't have it. But you said you have something there. So tell us, who are these 4? So that we will now ask about the other 32 later. Yeah, so don't respond to the other things. Just tell us who are these 4.
Right away, Chair.
Chair, if he has letters unsolved on these 4, he can also forward to us. Yeah, let's look at the 4.
The names and the information.
Governor, I thought you had Appendix 2 somewhere. We are the only ones who don't have it.
Yeah, Chair, just chief officers.
Sorry, Governor. Sorry, Governor. I didn't hear you on the last.
We have Abdi Adan Daud as an economic advisor. We have Abdi Nyabure.
As what kind of a advisor?
Abdi is economic advisor. And we have another Abdi Adan Godana as an advisor of intergovernmental affairs. Abdi Nyabure is political advisor. Abdi Nyabure, the earlier one. Josephine Eragai, that's the 4th one. No, I've said, I've mentioned 4.
Josephine is advisor on what?
I'm looking at our paper, just a minute. Just a minute. I can't recognize. 4, only 4.
Yeah, the question is, what does Josephine advise on, Governor?
Just a minute, yeah.
These are people who are supposed to be known to you personally, Governor. If they are your advisors,
Advisors are personal.
Do these people work in Isiolo? Do they work for you?
So what does Josephine do?
You are not on record. On record.
Microphone. Josephine is advisor on agriculture livestock production.
Tracing about Josephine.
So those are the 4. So the other 32. What is your position of the other 32?
They are working under the County Public Service Board.
As what?
As officers of different cadre, which I don't know here. Because I cannot know
Did you
all the
get
officers.
the management letter that listed the 36 from the Auditor General?
Yeah.
So your responsibility is to have the 36 and put another column and say this is an advisor, this one is a driver, this one is a director. That is how you discharge yourself. This is not. It is not for us to. It is not for the OAG to do that for you.
Yeah.
Chair.
I will bring evidence and the document of the same.
Chair,
Yeah.
I'm increasingly agreeing with the Senator Wambua that the executive is not ready for this meeting. I'm even getting tired in my head because
Chair, can I say something?
What we are getting really is not what we expect, Chair.
Senator.
Chair, what does Richard Chira do, Governor?
The chief officer.
He's a chief officer.
Of devolution.
So I can see there are
31 chief officers.
31 here.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, you have just given them 2 years contract.
Yeah.
Or are you the one doing appointment or the county public service board?
I'm the one who did the appointment after competitive sourced by the county public service board.
I understand. What these 31 chief officers, are they still in office, all of them up to date?
Their contract expired on March,
Yes.
and we recruit or reappoint the same.
No. Chair, Senator Cherargei,
I'm
you are
trying to look-
diverting attention.
Yeah,
from what I'm discussing.
no, let me give guidance. There's an audit finding.
Chair, I'm looking at the names that has been given by
Senator Cherargei, we have an audit finding on advisors and another one on chief officers. So we'll come to it. Now, whereas I sympathize with Senator Maruma, you see, if we don't talk about these things, if we don't expose them, then they will just be buried under procedural, directives. So I don't know what Senator Dulo wants to say, but I wanted us to, before ruling on advisors, we can now go to the question on chief officers, because the governor has given one response for both, and then see whether, with that kind of response, we can make progress. Senator Dulo.
Chair, I want to prove the governor wrong. Number one, he said he had 4 advisors, and the 4 advisors are known. Now, Josephine Eragai is supposed to be appointed as Chief Advisor on Livestock Production and Agriculture. There is no establishment for advisor as such. Number 2, yes. Number 2, her letter is signed by the governor himself. That is number 1. Now, secondly, there is another person appointed as advisor, Equalization Fund, which position does not exist at all. And that letter was signed by the county secretary, and I have an evidence. It can be verified. Now, let me conclude by saying that I agree with the auditors as senator for Isiolo County, oversighting Isiolo County. The governor is lying on oath. Whatever position the committee is taking, that is my position. I thank you, Chair.
Order, Governor. I'll give you an opportunity. You might benefit from what...
First, we don't know the source of the document.
Order, Governor.
I will table it.
This house is house of record.
No.
And it is a house of order.
We should not allow, Chair.
It is a house of order. You might benefit from what Senator Wambua is about to say. Senator Wambua?
Pay keen attention to this, Governor, if you will. Frankly speaking,
Cannot overrule me on this.
you have 4 advisors. That's your position. And these advisors advise you. They don't advise anybody else. They advise you. So there are people that must be very close to you. You must know their names, probably even their homes. These are people that advise you. You don't need somebody to give you a phone and tell you this is one of them. And you don't need that. And that is my chair, and I really want to plead with Senator Dulo. I know I have been in that space. Senator Dulo, just listen to me. I've been in that space. If we want, and I know that's what we want, if we want the people of Isiolo to benefit from devolution, the way we are currently constituted, the people of Isiolo may not benefit. Because, Governor, I will put it to you, if there is an audit query on advisors, and for you it is so clear that you have only 4, and the OAG has given you 36, the most honorary thing for anyone to do, basic diligence, would be to take my 4 and tell you their designation, they advise me on this, and the other 32 that you are saying are employees of the service board, you give the Senate a detailed account of every one of them. This is so-and-so, it's a driver, this is so-and-so, is a driver, this is their appointment letter, this is even their last salary that we paid them as drivers. That would have settled this matter, and the people of Isiolo would benefit. This cannot be a platform, really, where it is you said and she is saying and they are saying. I think, Chair, if you really allow, we can agree then this will be a preliminary engagement, then we have a proper engagement where documentation is provided and we are all seized of these matters.
I like the English you have used at the end. This, I think, will have to be a preliminary engagement because you've seen almost half of the issues have not been responded to. But what we are trying to avoid, and because of the length of time I've sat on this chair, is a situation where this team comes and we send them back, they come back, we send them back without looking at the substantive issues. May I tie this to the issue of the chief officers? Because there are 36 advisors and there are 31 chief officers, which I believe are different people. So, Auditor, what was your finding on chief officers?
Okay, thank you, Chair. That query is on query 1.72 on county chief officers and deputy county secretaries. The query goes, human resource records reveal that the county had appointed 31 county chief officers to head multiple departments instead of the 18 which were provided for in the county staff establishment of July 2022. In addition, the county had in position 2 deputy county secretaries which were not provided for in the county staff establishment. In the circumstances, the management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, what was your response?
Chair, before I respond to that,
I want you to respond first, then anything supplementary you'll say after.
thank you, Chair. It is true Isiolo County has 31 chief officers.
Is that written anywhere?
Yeah.
Where?
The management confirms having appointed a total of 31 chief officers serving in different portfolios.
Which document?
Is that
the same document you have? Same page, where you have excess advisors and chief officers.
Yes, but you have just repeated what the Auditor General has said.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
What you should tell us is whether your staff establishment allows for 18 or it allows for 31. That is the first. That is a violation.
If you go to the County Government Act, Chair, it is very clear how the appointment of the chief officers are done.
No, just a minute, Governor. What does your staff?
The law does not specify the number of chief officers to be appointed, Chair, as per the County Government Act.
Yes. Yeah. It is driven by your staff establishment, isn't it?
We've changed our staff establishment to allow 31 chief officers.
At the time of audit, what was the number of chief officers as per your staff establishment at the time of audit?
I'm not aware of that, but we have a staff establishment which allows for 31 chief officers here.
Governor, you are not making our life easy. In fact, for those of us who think that we need to have these conversations to help you see the problems in Isiolo, you're not doing us a favor. The auditor says your staff establishment allows for 18 chief officers. Is that true?
Yeah. We have a staff establishment which has been approved by the County Public Service Board, the County Executive, and the County Assembly.
Can we see a
allowing
copy?
31 chief officers.
Can we see a copy of that? Is it before us?
It is not before you, Chair, but it is there.
Chair, can I ask something?
Senator Dulo.
Now, the governor confirmed that he had 31 advisors. What is your current establishment?
I don't have 31 advisors.
No,
Chair.
31 chief officers, sorry.
Yeah.
The record, 31 chief officers. What is your current establishment since the previous chief officers, their term has come to an end?
I'll still appoint 31 chief officer. As per the county government act section 45, which allows the governors to do that,
Chair,
and the county of
Now, Governor,
which allows for 31 chief officers.
you do not have the luxury of bad manners in Isiolo because you're the governor. This is a constitution that guides your operations. And the constitution requires us as a Senate to confirm that the money we send to you is being used, one, lawfully, and two, effectively. A county with 10 MCAs and 36 advisors and 31 chief officers, that is madness. You can't tell us that that is justified and that you're going to do it because your staff establishment says so. That is completely out of order, completely unacceptable, Governor.
Chair.
That you cannot get away with. How many MCAs are there in Isiolo?
Chair,
let's start from there.
The constitution does not specify the appointment of the chief officer.
And constitution requires you to utilize public funds effectively. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So if you have 10 MCAs, 36 advisors, 36 chief officers, surely, no wonder you are at 46% on wage roll.
Other councils are at 51.
Chair,
You guys are running Isiolo like a joke.
Governor, I think we need to take the guidance from the chair that this conversation has to be an orderly conversation. There is something you have said in your response there at the bottom on what you call an action plan. You're saying the county is in the process of recruiting the right number of chief officers in accordance with the staff management. Staff establishment.
Yeah.
Now, what that response tells me is that you're willing to comply with or to rectify the mistake that was highlighted by the Auditor General by returning the number of chief officers to 18. But what you have gone and done is to change the staff establishment to allow you to get 31.
Which is allowed, Chair.
Yes, but
Under the law, it is allowed.
This is the problem, Governor. If the initial query is that you are not following the staff establishment, you have more than enough. Is it really your position that the Auditor General was telling you now go ahead and increase the number in the staff establishment?
Chair.
Allow him to answer me, Senator Dulo, please.
Fine.
Is that your understanding of the audit report, that the Auditor General was now saying go and increase to 31?
No, not Chair.
So that cannot be an explanation.
My explanation, Chair, is the County Government Act
I have
does
understood
not
that,
specify that.
Honorable Governor, you know I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I know what the law says. It is very condescending for you to send me to the law, and you know I'm a lawyer. So please, if you knew that the problem was this, instead of complying with your own staff establishment, because there was a thinking that went into having 18. The initial staff establishment of 18, there was a reason why they went to 18.
Chair, the initial one was
On record.
It moves to 18. Now we have 31.
Yeah.
Chair,
Please allow me.
We must draw a line between serious business and jokes.
Please allow
and I'll soon draw that line.
Chair, please allow me.
Senator Wambua.
Before Wambua makes a conclusion,
No, I'm not. It's not a conclusion.
Okay, just let him go
It's
first.
not a conclusion.
Senator Wambua.
I just want to try and put the governor back on track. You know, this audit, and you see, you are very calm. This audit is not futuristic. You know, it's not looking into the future. It's using the rear drive mirror, to look in the past. So, Governor, at the time of the audit, what was the staff establishment for chief officers in the county government of Isiolo at the time of the audit?
31, Chair.
At the time of the audit?
Management did not produce establishment to the auditors, but it was 31, Chair.
No, that one.
Yeah.
So this that one figure is not something that you did after the audit. It was always that one. Then maybe the auditor should tell us that where they got that 18 from.
I think the auditors have said it is a matter of fact. Auditor, can you tell us where the 18 came from?
It's the staff establishment, Chair.
Yeah. So, So that's why I'm saying we must distinguish between jokes and serious business. And I'm seeing that jokes are getting into the answered. The auditor...
Because the governor was on record and was responding to my question, let me also register my dissatisfaction with that response because, Governor, you said respectively that you moved from 18 to 31, but then, wait.
Not 18, Chair. In 2014, there was an establishment of 14. In 2019, it was changed to 18. In 2023, we changed it to 31.
And that's what I'm saying, that at the time of the audit, the auditors say it was at 18. You're saying it was at 31. Okay, well, all we need to do is get...
You see, in answer to that question which I asked earlier, the governor said he didn't know. All he knows is that now it's 31. And that's why I'm saying we need to be more serious, Governor. In fact, without evidence of those staff establishments in 13, in 17 or 19 and 23, we engaged in stories ajaba.
Chair.
We are not doing serious business
Can I
here.
say what I wanted to say?
Senator Dulo, Senator Cherarke.
Now, the 31, their contract expired on the 15th of March. Currently, worse of 31, they have 5 chief officers. 5. My question is, who is handling the docket of those chief officers who have left? Because if he says the law allows him to recruit as many numbers as he wants, 5 to deal with all the departments for the purpose of accountability, who is handling their budget as far as accountability is concerned? Number 2, Chair, the law is very clear that the county has a county public service board. What is happening in Isiolo? There are letters of appointment issued by the county secretary of Isiolo County. Where does that apply? Those are the issues I wanted to raise.
Yeah, can I ask a few questions so that we make progress?
Okay, then the governor will respond to both.
Governor, you have argued that there is a justification, such a legal justification. Can you pinpoint us, because under the County Government's Government Act, of course you have the power to appoint the chief officers after vetting by the County Public Service Board. Number 2, Chair, Governor, have you ever sat with your officers with the Office of the Auditor General, especially during entry and exit and management meetings, so that you can appraise? And then, Governor, I'm curious. For example, you have a chief officer in charge of fisheries department. I don't think whether it is relevant in Isiolo. Are there fish and fisheries in Isiolo? Of course, is it relevant? I wish, and that is why we are talking about staff establishment. I'm just using a justification. I'm imagining a governor in Homa Bay will need a chief officer of fishery department, but Isiolo will need more of livestock production, because that is where you go. So, by the fact that you are being told reduce your chief officers to 18 chief officers, there was a reason to that effect. So my question is, why didn't you measure some of these departments to ensure efficiency? Because you could have done livestock production, fisheries, and blue economy or something like that, or climate change. I've seen, Chair, some of chief officers even are doing functions that belong to the national government. So I don't think it is efficient, Governor. So on those 3 questions, and finally, Governor, chief officers under the County Government's Act are the accounting officers. Who is doing the approvals and requisitions to control our budget? Because you say by March they are gone. So who will we hail as accounting officers as per the law? Thank you, Chair.
Governor?
Thank you, Chair. It is true the term of the previous chief officer's office expired in March, and we renewed 5 of them. 5 of them are the ones who are holding those positions and acting for the officers which the other chief officers have not been reappointed or recruited. I want to confirm here, we are in the process of either reappointing the earlier one or recruiting new one. Chair, I can reduce my chief of staff to 10. What I wanted to come out clear here, the County Government Act does not constrain me to 18 chief officers, as what the Senator of Isiolo was saying. The Act is very clear, and it is the law, and I was following the law.
No, I'm on record. I have never said anywhere here. Can you withdraw that? Because I didn't say that. That is the record of the auditors.
When you
order,
the word liar,
Governor,
I will lied to the committee.
You are the liar. You are
Governor,
a pathological liar.
Governor,
Yeah.
Governor, you are getting out of order. You are getting out of order. I don't think you came to Nairobi for a shouting match. And we have been extremely patient. The chair has been extremely patient to allow us to have a conversation that can help the people of Isiolo. Let us not reduce it to a personal exchange. Whereas you say the law does not specify the number of chief officers, why is it that Isiolo has just 9 CCs while other counties have 10? Because it's specified in law, isn't it?
In the Constitution.
And
to have
it is
a third of the members of the county assembly.
correct.
And we have obliged
just let me guide you. Because the same principle that has capped the number of CCs in proportion to the size of your assembly is the same principle that would apply even when it comes to chief officers. There is a principle. And even if it is not stated in black and white that you should have 10 chief officers, you know, one day you'll wake up and you'll have 100 chief officers. Is that effective utilization of public resources? It is our job that even if you did things in accordance with a gap in law, but we must ask whether it is effective. It sounds wrong for a county like Isiolo with 10 MCAs and 9 CECs to have 36 advisors and 31 chief officers. That is not effective use of public resources. And you see, you have not provided any evidence to confirm that you have complied with your own laws in Isiolo. You have not presented to us the staff establishment. You have not presented to us the schedule of the 32, whom you are saying are not advisors. So we cannot arrive at any other conclusion. In fact, it now gets me to the point of asking whether we should proceed if these 2 issues have been responded to in this manner. There could be one or two other issues, perhaps relating to projects, that we might want to have a preliminary conversation on, so that when you now do your substantive response, you are guided on how to deal with the matters. But on the first 2 issues that we have tested, you have not responded in any manner that is satisfactory to this committee. The appendices are not there. The evidence of the law is not there. And that is why now I cannot avoid taking the documents tabled by Senator Dulo, because you have not presented your own evidence. So, members, I'm informed by the clerk that the payment has been received.
Yes, Chairman, the office of the clerk has received the banker's check. They are in the process of doing an acknowledgement letter to the county.
Okay, fine. So that can allow us to proceed with some...
Actually, it is to the governor, because that money has been paid by the governor, not the county.
Yeah.
Chair, before you close the 2